Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
A magic beyond anything you could ever imagine.
You are now listening to the Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Sagrera Farms on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Locking down the middle of the day.
You really think that's the best idea?
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
It's quite a piece of work.
Hour 2, Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. Chris Blair in 15 minutes talking Tigers. We're going to talk a lot of LSU here in hour number 2. I want to start with some baseball. We'll get to some football at the bottom of the hour. Looking at this LSU team as they enter this weekend, I was just kind of looking at the roster and seeing what jumped out at me. And the thing that jumped out at me was actually an interview from earlier in the week. And it was with Zach Cowan. Now, if you've been listening and paying attention, I said early on in January into early February, I didn't know if Zach Cowan was a guy that I thought would carve out a weekend role on this team as a starter. I didn't think that because I don't necessarily trust the slider quite enough. And without the slider, it's fastball changeup, and the fastball is not elite. And y'all know this. This is not news. So I didn't think of him as a weekend starter in my estimation. Not when I look at, and this is preseason before we knew what we know now about the guys that have taken those roles, but I felt pretty good about Cooper Moore being a weekend starter. He had done that at Kansas, done it very well, thought he would be in there. You knew Kason Evans was going to get an opportunity, even though he didn't throw the ball that great in January. And then I felt like William Schmidt and Cooper Williams were right there knocking on the door to be a weekend starting option. And then I thought that you could go perhaps down the list with a couple of different guys, maybe later in the season as they grew up. But Cowan wasn't a guy that I was immediately pointing toward. That is not to suggest that Zach Cowan can't play a key role in this team. And I think he can, and I think he just might. Now, I know if you've been watching this team and you think back to last year at College Station, at Columbia, against Little Rock, there were some bumps for sure. But Zach Cowan last year was really good. You're talking about a guy who, coming out of the bullpen as the highest leverage reliever on the team, he and Evans were right there, posted a 2.94 ERA. Like, yeah, you remember the bad stuff, but there was a lot of really good stuff. He came out of the bullpen against Arkansas on Friday night and was just dominant in the box. You know what he did in Omaha, but like in that game in the box, he was dominant. He was really good for the vast majority of last year. And you also don't just kind of luck into a 10-2 record as a Friday night guy at Wofford with 124 strikeouts and 29 walks. I say this to say that he has posted 2 very, very, very good full college seasons. You just have to find the right spot for him. And last week, you saw some of that. When LSU went to him in the 4th inning on Friday, you were down 10-4. Like, I'm not going to run. I tweeted out, might as well get 10 run, save pitching. I thought they were cooked. There wasn't a lot of evidence to me to suggest that a team that was getting boat raced and hadn't hit in 3 weeks was going to come back and hang 12 runs in the game. I just didn't see that coming. But while Cowan worked, and he worked 3 1/3 innings, shutout, struck out 5 and didn't walk anybody, all of a sudden he leaves the game after 7, and LSU scores, in the 8th, and it's now 12-10. So he carried the mantle for 3 1/3 innings, not 6 1/3, but 3 1/3. And I think that's a model for him moving forward. Perhaps not that many at bats, but he faced 11 guys. That's one time through the order, basically. And I think that is the answer for Cowan, if he throws strikes. And so I look at Zach Cowan, and I heard him talk earlier this week, as I mentioned at the top of the segment, and he talked about his struggles, and he talked about his mindset in overcoming that. And he said, it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. I like to look at it from a good perspective, and I just try to stay ready, stay positive, support the guys around me, and I think that'll bring me good things in the future. And in the course of saying that, like, he's very stoic, his heartbeat moves slow, and that's the guy you saw late in games last year. He never looked rattled. Sometimes he got hit, but he never looked rattled, and he always threw strikes. And he was awesome almost all of last year, and LSU was awesome almost all of last year. And he's been not so good almost all of this year, and LSU's been not so good most of this year. And Cowan said there's always some sort of adversity. There was adversity last year that not everyone saw. People have definitely seen it a little bit more this year, but the vibes, the morale around the team are really good. Never lose faith in each other, always supporting each other. It's a great group to be in this position with. And he's talking about kind of going through some struggles. And I'm not suggesting that Cowan needs to take the closer role. I'm okay with Guidry there. I'm great with Sheeran there. Rizzy's got his role as well. But you need more guys. And I think Zach Cowan, while there's probably a faction of the fan base, that's not really relevant to the decisions that are actually being made, but like, I talk to the fan base every day, so I'm talking to you, the fan base. I think there's probably a big faction of the fan base that goes, Cowan stinks. Not a great fastball, can't throw the slider, like he stinks. That's not the case. You can't stink and be a Friday night guy for a tournament team, strike out a bajillion, don't walk anybody, come back the next year, Southeastern Conference, highest leverage spots, best offenses in the country that you're facing routinely, and churn them up way more often than not and just be terrible. That he's not terrible. Now, he had not earned high leverage innings with his work early on. I mean, throughout the early part of this season, he had allowed 12 hits and 6 earned runs over 4 innings. That's 3 hits an inning. That's a run and a half an inning. Like, that's not good enough. And that's why on Friday of last week, when LSU was not waving a white flag, but they knew that we're not going to Rizzy here. We're certainly not going to Sheeran or Guidry or any of our A guys. Like, Cowan, what can you do here? You hadn't been very good. Go get him. And he responded. And that gives you a little bit of confidence. And sometimes you just need a little bit of confidence, and then you can go out there and handle business. So if there's a situation where LSU needs more than 2 outs, needs 6 outs, I'm okay with Cowan going through once. Because if he throws strikes and he gets ahead, that changeup can induce some weak contact. It can get some swings and misses. He struck out 5 Vanderbilt hitters on Friday. He can do that. I just don't want him seeing him a third time. Because without the fastball velocity and without a real weapon of a breaking pitch, I'd like them to be a little bit uncomfortable seeing him for 5 pitches. Because that's, like, if Cowan's on, he's going to throw strike 1, he's going to throw strike 2. Like, he's going to be in the zone. And so if he gets strike 1, strike 2, like, you're looking at a short at bat. You're not looking, it's not one of those guys that nobody can square up, so they're tipping fastballs away. Like, I was going nuts on Sunday watching that game because Vanderbilt was fouling off William Schmidt pitches by the truckload. Why? Because he throws 97-mile-an-hour fastball, it's hard to get the barrel to, and because his breaking ball's got a lot of depth, and you can foul it off a lot. With Cowan, like, strike 1, strike 2, you might hit the changeup for a single, you might swing over the top of it, but you might just ground it out. And I don't think he'll throw a ton of pitches. I don't think guys will see him for extended at-bats. Your at-bat's going to be over pretty quick with Zach Cowan. So, again, I'm still on the page that I was in January and February, where I was like, I don't really know that he's a starter on this team. But I'm not dismissing him. And there's a chance you're going to need him. If your starting pitchers are going 4 1/3, 3 1/3, like they were last week, you're going to have somebody come eat up outs. And you're not going to Rizzy in the 4th inning very often. You're not going to Sheeran in the 4th inning very often. You're not going to Guidry very often in the 4th inning. If it's a right-hander, like Reagan Ricken hadn't probably earned that time. Like Jaden Newt is in that role as well. But Cowan's a senior. And he's got 2 years of really good baseball under his belt. I'm not ready to write him off just yet. I'm filing that away. He's not right now, to me, a key to the weekend. Like, that's not where I see him. But potentially as an arm that can emerge to be better than what you've been. And that's what we're talking about with LSU right now. I need guys to be better than they've been for the last 3 weeks. Jake Brown, you can keep doing that. Schmidt, you can keep doing that. Curiel, you can keep doing that. Everybody else, I need better. And Callan's one of those guys. I need better. I need better from Milam. I need better from York. I need better from Aaron Beatty. I need better than from Cason Evans. Stanfield can do what he's been doing for 3 games. But Callan's got to be better. And I think there's ample evidence over 2 years to suggest he can be. Not the ace, not the Saturday starter, not the closer. Better middle of games, 8-9 outs. LSU needs that. I'm hopeful that you can get it. And I'm hopeful that what he did on Friday is a catalyst for things moving forward. We'll see. Our Thursday show is brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. We'll come back and talk to Chris Blair next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Marucci. Oklahoma baseball team was over at Marucci yesterday. Saw that on Matt Moscona's old Instagram roll because Matt Moscona was in the hitter's house yesterday for After Further Review, and OU stopped on by there. I hope they do a terrible job of swinging their bats tonight and tomorrow and the next day. But they're still really good bats, and that's why they're the official bat of Major League Baseball. So if you want to go take a tour over at Marucci, go check it out. Go hear their story. 22 years, an amazing story from a backyard shed to the official bat of Major League Baseball. Go see where they make 1,200 bats a day. It's amazing. And they're about to ship off a ton more as Major League Baseball gets started up a week from today. So go see them right here in Baton Rouge. Take a tour, maruccisports.com/campus-tour. Every ticket comes with a $20% discount in the campus tour store and in the hitter's house. Go see a real gem here in the capital city. It is Marucci. Check them out online, maruccisports.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
Talk a little LSU football coming up in 15 minutes. Let's welcome the voice of the Tigers to the program. Chris Blair will be on the call tonight for LSU in Oklahoma. 7 o'clock start over at the box. You can find pregame on Eagle 98.1 at 6:30. Chris, how are you?
I'm great, man. Doing well.
Just couldn't get out of Nashville fast enough, or oh wait, you had to stay an extra day?
Yeah, just enjoyed it so much. Had to stay one extra day. That was it was quite an adventure for a full week. And again, a lot of places you could be stuck for over a week, and that are a lot worse than Nashville. So no complaints.
What were the logistics? Right? When did the guys get back on Monday?
I think we landed at BTR at 5:45,
Okay.
so we didn't get back. And basically, then you got another 30 minutes and loading, and they probably got back to the box. I'm thinking around 6:30.
Okay. Well, they played okay in the late innings on Tuesday, and now they'll head to a home series here, 2 in a row with Oklahoma and Kentucky. It seems like the offense found something late in Nashville. Is that what it felt like to you?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, we kind of forget that there were plenty of offense on Friday. And it seems like it's only not even a week yet. And it's like, oh, yeah, well, we lost 2 out of 3. But they were 1 strike, 1 out away from, winning game 1 in a 13-12 ball game. So there's plenty of offense. You can talk about pitching. You can talk about defense. You can talk about 28 free passes over those 3 games. Absolutely. But I want to make sure, let's not forget they did put some runs on the board. They didn't on Saturday, clearly. But yes, I think the offense and, talking to Jay while we were in Nashville, talking to him a little bit yesterday after his media session, there's some things that he sees and he feels that have really improved over the last week. And he said, that's the tough part is that, it'd be great to have 4-0 on the week. And that's not the case, but he feels like there have been some improvements made. So we'll find out. Oklahoma's a team, when you look at them statistically compared to the rest of the SEC, they're pretty much in the top half in all but maybe fielding. So they'll get another challenge this week. And I go back to what Jay told me in 2022 after the full season. Chris, there's never enough runs in SEC baseball. Just when you think, okay, 8 should do it. No, maybe not in a given game. So I think offense is something they're going to continue to try to find more consistency at. And that's the beauty of baseball. there's 56 regular season games. To think you're a fully formed team 20-plus games into the season, that'd be great. And I guess sometimes there are teams that are, but that's not always the case.
Omar Cerna and Kade Arambidi are splitting time behind the dish, and both have had their moments offensively in the last 2 weeks. What have you seen from those two guys?
Yeah, I kind of like Arambidi. I think you could go, based on what they've done in the last week, 10 days, I think that's your catcher and your DH, to be honest with you. I know that leaves some question marks at some of the other positions that you're trying to fill that were, moved on after last year's championship team. I look at our position players now, and I realize that, Chris Stanfield comes back this past weekend after playing just the first 2 games of the season. And he led the team against SEC pitching batting last year, and he was one of the tops in doubles. And suddenly you don't have him for a number of games. And then you look at the rest and you go, okay, you got Stanfield, you got Curiel, you got Brown, and you got Milam. And that's what you got returning in the field. So I know there's a lot of question marks that, who's going to be the everyday second baseman, and have they settled on an everyday third baseman? And I don't know that we'll get there as far as an everyday. I know that's the plan. But when it comes to Cerna and Arambidi, who I think swung the bat extremely well over the last several games, to me, you want to give a guy, that's the beauty of having multiple catchers. And that's another thing that Jay said he learned a valuable lesson at in 22 is that you've got to have a stockpile of talent at the catcher position, both defensively and obviously offensively. But I think that right now, I would like to see those guys catch and be the DH, just based on what they've done here of late.
You mentioned a lot of those returners. When you think about Brown, Milam, of course, Jay Johnson as well, guys who were here in 2024 when things were bumpy for an extended period of time and watch the team come out of it because they played great down the stretch. Do you think that's a boost to this team as they try to put some good games together?
Absolutely. It's what I said. I think Doug and I talked about it Tuesday night during the game. And Milam, to me, Steven becomes and I don't want to put pressure on him. Goodness knows he's got enough already. But he's kind of the guy I look to. He's kind of the weather vane, and has been all 3 years I've been here because he just finds a way to rise when the moment's there. When there's a big moment in a game, I don't care if Milam's batting 250. I don't care if he's batting 275. He needs to be over 300. He's going to be able to get there, and I think that's important, and that's a very good thing that you point out there is that these guys did go through that 24 season where they scuffled a bit and struggled against SEC teams, and everybody was scratching their head. And obviously the season ended in a regional. So I think there's some value to the fact that those guys know and they can recognize, hey, wait a minute, we're going down this path. We need to change it. I need to change it personally as well as with the team. So I think that's valuable. And I think that's why you see the confidence that Jay Johnson has. He believes in the guys that he has equity in. And it's going to take and he obviously recruited guys to the program that have talent. Are they having to adjust to Baton Rouge? Are they having to adjust to LSU? Are they having to adjust to the big stage of the box and these other SEC venues? Maybe some of that is true. But again, baseball is a long season. And to take a snapshot in late February, early March and say, okay, that's who we are. This is who we are. And I just don't buy that.
Yeah, it's every year you see some Southeastern Conference teams stumble out of the blocks and figure some things out. Florida was 1-11 last year through 4 weeks when they made the tournament. So you just never quite know. Every game is an individual situation. Tonight, Kason Evans will get the baseball. I know how much Jay Johnson thinks of him, but the Tigers need a little bit more than he's given them. What's your confidence level in him tonight?
Yeah, Jay was he doubled down, tripled down, and I have no reason to doubt him. Yesterday in the media session, he said, look, I have a lot of confidence. There's guys I have a lot of confidence in, and I think Kason Evans is one of those, and that's why he has been the game one starter. I do think it's important because, again, I don't know anything. This is just based on what I have seen over the last 4+ seasons, that at some point, they're going to fish or cut bait or fish, one or the other. Yeah. And I think we're getting to that point now at this point of the season where, you just need to go out and put your team in a position to win the game. And I'm not saying Kason hasn't done that. I'm just saying I think that this is a very important game for him. As far as being the game one starter on the weekend, do I think that's going to change next week? Oh, I have no idea. I just think it's an opportunity because I think he is valuable. And is he the Friday night game one starter, Thursday night game one starter? Maybe. If Is he a good guy that you could bring in when you need to shut things down or, late innings? I mean, there's other roles for pitchers. So I think we're getting to a point where that role, I think, is going to be evaluated.
No doubt about that, and just you don't have to look any further than Gabe Gackle last year for Arkansas, who they trotted him out on Friday, and it just didn't go so great. And so they said, well, let's put you back where you were, and he dominated. He was awesome. We saw him in Omaha when he was really, really good. So I'm pulling for Kaysen tonight. Hopefully he gets it together, and LSU gets a big win. Chris, I said this to Joe Healy, who's with us in the first hour, and I'll get your thoughts on it. It's a pretty obvious question, but it's just something that I'm looking for. I would just like this team to go out and win an 8-2 game that they don't make any errors in. They don't throw it into right field. They don't issue 11 walks. It just looks boring, simple, and complete. I just think that would do worlds for their confidence because it feels like they're losing 3-1 in the third of every game they play. It's like, all right, show up. And it's just, I wish they could just play an easy one.
Yeah, I mean, that's funny because Bill and I were talking about it over the weekend. It's like, it's great when you're calling a game and there's a massive comeback and there's a walk-off in the bottom of the ninth or extra innings. But, yes, I'm with you. I think, and not only selfishly for you and I just think you're right. I think it would be very good for the team. I think that would be a huge shot in the arm from a confidence standpoint that, look, if we go out and play our game the way we've been coached to play and we play clean, our talent should give us a chance to win most every single night. And if we just go out and do that, I think the chances are not against everybody. I mean, let's face it, the SEC is loaded with every team could probably make that argument. But I don't think that we've seen that outside of maybe the first 2 to 3 weekends of the season, or maybe the first 2 weekends of the season, to be more accurate. But, yeah, I'm with you. I think that would be a welcome sight.
I do as well. We'll see if we can get it tonight. I've got dad duty tonight and pickleball tomorrow, but I'll see you at the box on Saturday.
Pickleball. All right. I'll have to join you for some pickleball soon. Let's set a date. That'd be fun.
We can do that. I've played one time. I can't say my skill level is excellent, but I'm better than my wife. I can tell you that.
Oh, shots fired. All right. Enjoy the night.
We shall. I'll see you Saturday, Chris. He is Chris Blair, voice of the Tigers, here talking a little baseball on this Thursday. Thursday show is brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. Look, herd levels in the country are at the lowest they've been since the 50s or 60s at this point, and that creates a supply and demand issue with beef. You've seen it when you go buy your beef. The beautiful thing about Sagrera Farms is that they haven't changed their prices since they started. And if you're already paying a premium price wherever you buy your beef and it's not a premium product, why don't you just pay the price for a premium product, which you can get at Sagrera Farms? You go buy half a cow. You go buy a quarter of a cow. You go buy a whole cow. Split it between you and 3 friends. Fill those freezers up when you're ready for steaks. You got prime ribeyes right there. When you're ready for steaks, prime fillets, prime strips. When you're ready for burgers, you got ground beef that is as good as you will find anywhere, and you can be promised you're not going to have steroids, improper use of antibiotics, and it's local. That beef you bring home is one DNA from one cow that's been raised at Sagrera Farms, a 3-year process, raised on grass, finished on grain, dry-aged 45 days. It is as good a beef as you will find anywhere, and it's right here just outside of Baton Rouge. So what I tell you to do is to call Sean Sagrera. I'm going to give you his phone number right here at the end of this read. You give him a call. You say, hey, I'm sick of this rigmarole with beef. I want to get the best, and I want to get it from you right here at Sagrera Farms. And Sean will say, come on up to the farm, check it out, and we'll send you home with some phenomenal beef. It's 225, obviously, right here just outside of Baton Rouge. 719-1723. 719-1723. That's Sagrera Farms. They bring you our Thursday shows each and every week. All right, we'll step aside. We'll come back. We'll talk a little Tiger football next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Under new ownership since October the 1st. So if you visited a Chevy dealership on Highway 61, you realize you're walking into a whole new ball game now because the Fabry family is running things. They've been in business for 35 years in this community. So you know what you're going to get. The customer service is second to none. You're going to get fantastic service after the sale. And a lot of folks are uneasy about the buying experience in the auto world. I get that. You'll have a wonderful one at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. If you want to start your process online, you can do it at FabryChevrolet.com. The entire inventory is online. But if you want to get an SUV, a Chevy Tahoe, Chevy Suburban, maybe a Yukon or a Denali on the GMC side, they've got you covered at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Up to $11,000 off Silverados this month, up to $13,000 off GMC Sierras this month. So if you're looking for a truck, no better time to get by Fabry Chevrolet than right now. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville or online at fabrychevrolet.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
Thursday show is brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. I'm going to get you caught up on some scores from around the men's basketball tournament that cranks up in earnest today. A couple finals from the early morning window. Nebraska annihilated Troy. It's the 4 seed in the South over the 13 seed Trojans. 76-47 was the final. TCU with a tight win over Ohio State, 66-64. Buckeyes came back thunderously, but did not have enough to get over the hump. So TCU will move on, very likely to play Duke in the East region. That was the 9-8 game there. Look at some games that are underway right now. High Point in Wisconsin still in a tight one. 4.5 minutes to go. Wisconsin up on High Point in the 5-12 game, 70-65. Duke is, I didn't even see this. I just refreshed the scoreboard. Siena's up 9 points on Duke.
No.
And they played 13 minutes. 7.5 to go in the first half. Duke is trailing the Siena Saints to this point. I have a feeling that's not going to last, but it's funny to look at right now. McNeese out to a hot start over Vanderbilt right now. That's a 12-5 game as well. McNeese leads that one after 6.5 minutes are gone. 19-10 Cowboys over the Commodores. And Louisville leads South Florida by 9. There are 4.5 minutes to go.
Man, I'm done. March is canceled. March is canceled.
You're really only done if you've lost like some Sweet 16 teams.
Dude, I mean,
if you lose Duke, you got a problem.
Yeah.
But I think everybody's got a problem if you lose Duke. I've lost a national champion on the first day. I think I can't remember who it was, but I've lost a national champion on the first day before. And it's not comfortable when you've got money on that. So that's a look at the scoreboard. I was reading up to transition to LSU football on a Ross Dellinger piece earlier today. He writes it now for On 3. And there was discussion on Capitol Hill about a Lane Kiffin rule. Now, I saw the headline, Lane Kiffin rule, and I thought to myself, like, what do we think that means? I thought about Lane Kiffin. I don't have anything like social media. Maybe the deal with Washington's quarterback, that wasn't a great look. He had signed a contract, and all of a sudden he says he's going back to Washington, puts it out on social media. 2 days later, I'm in the portal. Washington sues, and LSU was tied to that. According to sources, it wasn't ever a public thing. But LSU is that a deal? Is that why the Lane Kiffin rule? No, none of that. Actually, something that makes a lot more sense. The Lane Kiffin rule is something they're looking to put into the SCORE Act when it comes to the hiring of coaches away from other schools. One person familiar with the situation, Ross, writes, the Lane Kiffin stuff was not good timing, meaning when he left Ole Miss for LSU. Now, look, LSU did not do anything wrong in that circumstance. If you fired a coach and you're looking for a new coach and you speak to an agent, you're not doing anything wrong. Now, you want to question Lane Kiffin for entertaining that and for leaving his team a week and change before a playoff game. I understand your feeling on that. I think if I'm looking at this objectively, which understandably, you know my situation, I come from LSU. I'm an LSU fan. I'm thrilled with the fact that they hired Lane Kiffin. I'm thrilled with the fact that he left Ole Miss. I can put that aside and look at this and suggest that this is probably not the way this should shake out. I can't think of a lot of other sports that would allow a coach to leave or have a schedule set up to encourage a coach to leave before his team's season is done, especially when you're in the mix for a championship. Like, if you're talking about a coach leaving Tulane for Florida before Tulane plays in the Birmingham Bowl, I know they were in the playoff this year, but just hypothetically, that's one thing. It's just, we've always done that. But I think we need to change the schedule from the portal opening, where it's vital for coaches to get their next team put together. That makes you have to hire a coach prior to that, which means the hiring is being done before the college football playoff, which means playoff coaches are going to have to leave. Like, it's not good for Lane Kiffin to leave Ole Miss in the middle of that. It's not good for John Summerall to be working 2 jobs at once. That's not good. So I don't think that we are married to this. I do understand the window to enroll in school, which is the backbone of this entire thing. It's supposed to be. So if a team's going to play until January 19th and schools are enrolling in classes and starting things up on January the 8th, I get that. Like, I understand the purpose of this. But I also think that we should be able to be sensible about this and not have that portal window open when it is and coaches jumping ship when they are. Because this is not a situation where it's such a, the odds are so slim that this can actually happen. It happened in 2 circumstances just this year. We've been at this for 2 years. And you had Tulane's coach and Ole Miss's coach taking other jobs before the playoffs started. So I can take off my purple and gold glasses and go, regardless of what you think about Lane Kiffin's motivations or whether or not that was a good move or a bad move, there are plenty of coaches who think it's a terrible move, plenty of people going, this makes a lot of sense. Doesn't matter what side of that you're on. What matters is that the fact that it was allowed to happen is probably ridiculous. I think it's a little bit ridiculous that the transfer portal's open when you're trying to win the College World Series. I think it's a lot ridiculous that coaches are basically forced to jump before their seasons are done because of the transfer portal and how important that is for the next gig. And I think it's okay, if we're talking about this on Capitol Hill, to look into this. I don't think that's an LSU take. I don't think that's an Ole Miss take. I just think it's a reasonable take. And if they want to look at that, great. I think the portal probably shouldn't open until early January. Maybe, well, I mean, your high school signing class, it opened January 2nd. I think the portal probably shouldn't open until closer to the 10th or 12th, 14th, where maybe you've got 2 teams playing. And if you've got a team that's in the national final, I think you're going to be okay recruiting. And I don't know that your coach is going to up and leave before the national final. Maybe that's naive, but that's kind of where I am. Let's let the first 2-3 rounds of this thing play out, and then we'll do things later. Like, I don't think that Miami was significantly compromised in courting Sam Leavitt because they were in the national championship game. He went on a visit. Like, I think they probably still could have made that happen if it was meant to happen. Back things up. And I get, let's talk to the bursar's office. Let's talk to enrollment. We can catch up if we miss 8 days of school. I promise we can catch up if we miss 8 days of school. But shuffling this entire thing and flipping it on its head in December because of that doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's push things back. I'm for that. I think it makes a lot of sense. I don't have exact dates and timelines figured out. That would be a broad discussion. But just because I can sit here and point and laugh at Ole Miss and go, ha, took your coach, middle of the playoff run. He left you at the doorstep. You got beat. We got your guy. Ha, like, okay, like that's funny. But is it good for the sport? Like, those are 2 completely different discussions. Trust me. I will laugh for a week straight if LSU goes to Oxford, hangs 40, wins, and Golding flames out and loses 6 games this year. I think that'll be hilarious. It doesn't mean what happened in December in late November, as it were, was the best thing for college football and college sports. Like, can we at least agree on that? Maybe not. Maybe you just have so much hate for Ole Miss in your heart, so much love for LSU in your heart, it doesn't matter. And I always tell you, like, my first thought on a rule change is how does that affect LSU? And it's unlikely to hurt LSU in a lot of instances. I don't think LSU's coach is going to leave in the middle of a playoff ever. I don't think a coach is going to leave LSU right before College World Series. I don't think a coach is going to leave LSU prior to March Madness because with basketball, because of when it starts and when it finishes, you don't have that issue semester-wise. So I don't think LSU is ever going to be significantly hurt by this. It actually just hurt Ole Miss. But is that what's best for everyone here? Is that what makes the most sense? Probably not. So if they're going to name it the Lane Kiffin rule, fine. I'm okay with that. Does it need to be looked at? Yes. Is it Congress that needs to get involved with it? Well, that's probably a different discussion. But I'm looking at this going, okay, let's make some sense of all this. LSU got its pound of flesh from Ole Miss. Let's move forward and do a little bit better at this. That's kind of my thought on the situation, at least. So no news, nothing breaking. Just Ross Dellinger writing over it on 3 that they're looking to put a new version of the SCORE Act together, which is designed to make college sports a little bit more reasonable. Y'all have heard me use the word silly a bunch of times. I think it still probably applies to a lot of things that go on in college sports. But if they're going to name it the Lane Kiffin rule and they're going to change things, I think that's not the worst thing in the world. We'll come back and close out this Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Vaughn and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Safety is a big deal, especially as folks get older. If you've got a loved one in your life that's getting older, that could potentially have a hazardous situation in the bathroom, do what you can with David's help to mitigate that risk. Sit down, have that consultation. He can recommend non-slip floors. He can recommend walk-in tubs that are more comfortable, safer, more convenient. He can recommend showers that have benches or guardrails in potentially slippery or hazardous areas. These are things that you may not think about all the time, but David does them all the time. Go check out the website, onebathandclosets.com. You'll see pictures of their fantastic work, customized to each individual client's needs. Bathrooms, closets, you name it, they can do it at One Bath and Closets. They'll do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. It's One Bath and Closets. Check them out online at onebathandclosets.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
University of Maryland, Baltimore County over Virginia. Fairleigh Dickinson over Purdue.
Wait, that's all going on right now?
No, those are the only 16s to ever beat ones.
Oh, I was going to be like, man, what's going on?
Do we have another brewing? Because Duke is getting smoked.
No, it got worse.
They're down 11 with 36 seconds to go in the first half.
Wow.
Now, they could easily win this game by 15, 18
but
points.
Still.
But they're getting smoked right now. I mean, if I gave you Duke -6 right now, what would you take?
Taking it all day.
You would take Duke -6.
Yeah.
You think they'll cover the 6 points?
Oh, well, yeah. There's no way. I mean, it's March, though, but it's still.
What, is there a statistical outlier in this? I'm looking at the box score right now. Turnovers. Siena's only got 3 turnovers. Duke's got 4, so that's not a big
What's the
deal.
threes?
Duke is 2 for 14 from 3.
Okay.
That's 14%. Siena's 5 of 10, so it's not like they're going nuts from 3. 50% is fantastic, but they haven't made 11.
Rebounds?
No, I mean, the field goal stat, Siena's 17 for 30. They're shooting 57%. That's a very, very high number. Duke's at 39% at this point.
Okay.
Cameron Boozer.
Are they on the glass?
Has been good. Rebounds total. They're split offense defense, so I got to do math here, but that's 13 to 18. Siena's is outreading by 5.
That's still
crazy.
But
it's halftime, and Siena's up 11. Duke scored 32 points in the first half. The Blue Devils are 32-2.
Yeah.
So that is that's not awesome. Is there anybody that's having a big day for Siena? No, not to this point. Just
they don't have a Jack Golke?
I shouldn't say that. Gavin Doty, my man, is 6 for 11 from the floor. Oh, how about this is a beautiful thing in the box score.
Okay.
I shout out Siena's coach. This is probably not going to work, but I love it. He played his 5 starters 20 minutes in the first half.
Oh, brother.
He did not go to the bench once.
Oh, you can't
My guys are playing Duke in the first round. These are the guys I got. My team is on the floor. Like, this is what we're going to.
Hey, I respect it. That ain't going to work all game, but I respect it.
My guys, Francis, Brendan, Riley, Gavin, and Justice played 20 minutes apiece in the first half. I love that.
Hey, that's on Duke for not getting one of them in foul trouble at least. Like, goodness gracious.
Well, I didn't say they didn't. No, that's 5. They all have 1 foul.
Yeah,
Everybody's got 1 foul. Nobody even got 2. We love that. Let me tell you about Gotro's Outdoor Power real quick. Mower Madness is coming up over at Gotro's Outdoor Power. You are not going to want to miss this. They've got 2 locations, one in Gonzales and one in Baton Rouge on Airline Highway. The deals are fantastic. So it's coming up March 23rd through the 28th. So that is next week. Mower Madness, Gotro's Outdoor Power. Open house with food and giveaways on Friday the 27th at both locations. The prices are as good as they will have all year. You're talking about 15% off all Echo products, $250 off all Hustler Raptors, and up to 32% off MSRP on the Hustler commercial zero-turn mowers. They've got a huge inventory of these Hustler commercial zero-turns, up to 32% off MSRP. That is a big, big saving. Plus, they're going to be raffling off 2 DeWalt 20-volt blowers at each store on Friday for the open house. So if you're in the market for a new zero-turn mower, there is no better time and no better place than to get on by Gotro's Outdoor Power in Gonzales or on Airline Highway in Baton Rouge. Coming up next week for Mower Madness. All right, take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so Detroit Pistons star Cade Cunningham has been diagnosed with a collapsed left lung, a major blow to the Pistons, who are first place in the Eastern Conference for the first time in like 2 decades. But the major problem right here is that Cade has only played 60 games this year, and he's probably going to be out for the rest of the regular season. And the threshold to be eligible for postseason awards is 65 games. And you already know Cade Cunningham is eligible to be like first-team All-NBA, and he's in the MVP race. So does the NBA need to get rid of the 65-game rule? Take it or leave it?
I'll leave it. Okay. I mean, like, are we sure he's the MVP for playing that much? Like,
oh, no.
I mean, no. And is he first team All NBA? Like, I can see both sides of the coin, but I think you need to be out there if you're going to be. And I'm sorry, like, it's not his fault he got a collapsed lung. It's not load management. But, like, if you're going to be a first team All League player, I need you on the floor. And he's not going to be there. So that always, I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything about anything, but collapsed lung just sounds terrible.
It always does.
It just sounds like a not good thing.
It does, but then again, CJ McCollum had it twice with the Pelicans and shook back twice, so that's why I'm like,
good.
He'll be back for the playoffs, but this is definitely a blow, especially he's at 60 games, so it's like, you was right there, man. So the Cleveland Browns have proposed a new rule change that will change the way draft trades will be. So the Browns are proposing a trade that will allow teams to trade their future first-round pick 5 years in advance. So currently he's at 3. So do the Browns need to be saved from themselves? Take it or leave it?
I'll take it. No, we don't need to be trading 5 years draft picks. I don't even want that, because guess what? The coach is getting fired and the GM is getting fired before that gets there. If you're a GM and you're getting unless your name is
Mickey Loomis.
That's exactly right. I was going to go with Ozzie Newsome or like some of these guys that have been there forever and ever, amen. I'm okay if Sam Presti wants to start dealing in 5 drafts from now, because he'll still be there. But nobody else makes it 5 years at coach or GM in any of these sports. So that's ridiculous. No, Browns, sit back down.
It makes it funny because it's the Browns trying to do this. Like, no. We need to get in the mix, man. We got these picks in 2031. We need to get off real quick. Okay, so LeBron James scored 30 last night versus the Rockets. He shot 13 of 14 from the field. Woo. And post-game, head coach J.J. Redick said watching LeBron do this at this age makes him feel like a loser. Every time he falls on the ground, every time he has to box out, every time he gets hard in transition, I feel it too. So coaching a player older than you, it makes you feel like a loser? Take it or leave it?
I'll take it if it's LeBron.
I'll take it.
I mean, he's just he's talking about being out there. He was out there for like 22 years, whatever it is. I mean, it's just
23 right now.
23. It's just unbelievable. I think LeBron is one of those cases where once he's gone, you look back and go, oh, yeah, that was really, really special. I think we all realize it in the moment, but I certainly appreciate the longevity. The elite play was elite, but the longevity was even more impressive.
Yeah, man, 41 years old, 13 of 14 last night, and the Lakers are on like a 5-game win streak right now. So they're playing Real ball. LeBron's fit in with Luka.
I mean, what do we think?
Dangerous.
What do we think my guy Jokic is going to be doing when he's 43 years old?
Horse racing in Serbia. You never hear from him ever again. Like, you'll never hear from him ever again. In Serbia, 5-time horse racing champion.
All right. Is that it for Take It or Leave It?
That's it.
I have like 20 seconds left. Should I give a pick for the baseball game tonight?
Might as well. Let's go.
I choose not to pick. I picked LSU to win 2 of 3 last week. I choose not to pick tonight.
Okay.
We'll talk about it tomorrow. I choose not to pick. LSU in Oklahoma tonight at 7 o'clock. If you want to get ready for it, I talked about it in both hours today. We talked to Chris Blair as well. We're back tomorrow, same time, same place. Matt's about to drive you home on AFR next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, lifetimeroofingla.com. Lifetimeroofingla.com is that website. Look, they are so proud to offer, as of January 1st, a lifetime warranty on their workmanship and their materials. A lifetime warranty. That's backed by CertainTeed, which is one of the oldest and most trusted names in building materials. So you're going to have options when you have that roof redone. Most people will go and look for different quotes. That's okay. But keep in mind, when you work with Lifetime Roofing, that you're getting a locally owned and operated company that's not going anywhere, that also can offer a lifetime warranty. That's a difference maker for Lifetime Roofing. So if you need an inspection, need a repair, just need a new roof, trust the folks at Lifetime Roofing to do it. If you're looking for financing, they got it. 0% up to 18 months. Lifetime Roofing. Find them online at lifetimeroofingla.com.